Wisdom and Contemplative Thought. December 12, 2014. Greetings, we are the Arcturians. We wish to talk to you today about the inner act of wisdom. For what is wisdom? Wise thoughts, thoughts that give guidance to actions, thoughts of greater and deeper contemplation, thoughts of greater and deeper consideration, the thoughts that are in greater alignment with the divine connection. In the human perspective, it's like taking a step back and looking at the big picture. Taking more of the factors into account than just the raw emotions in the moment, so that you are coming from a place of greater knowingness, rather than reaction, where in this place of reaction, more often than not, it is your stuff as you call it, which is quite often pushing your buttons, creating an emotion, which is leading you to a thought, which then leads you to an action. Whereas, thoughts of wisdom come from a place where you are centered, contemplative, and thoughtful. You are tuned into what is around you and what is happening to you, but the thoughts are coming from a greater perspective where you are simply observing the emotions and the reactions that you have. You are also tuning into, simultaneously, the greater connection to other aspects of yourself. Similar lessons that you have already learned over the ages and your past lifetimes, tapping into the knowingness of the great wisdom of your soul. Also, in some cases, tapping into the wisdom of the knowingness of the greater consciousness of your race, and then one step further tapping into the greater consciousness of the higher dimensions and beyond. Then, taking all of these facets into account, to formulate a thought that is more encompassing, considerate, loving, a wise thought. When you observe a wise man or wise woman, they do not seem to be rushing through the thought or the reaction. In that moment they are contemplative. Then from the contemplation of the various levels and facets, they formulate a thought, a wise thought. So why are we talking to you today about wise thoughts and wisdom? Funny as it may seem, but, as each of you are going through your daily lives, how often do you take the time to just stop and contemplate what it is that you are doing, and what it is that you are thinking in that moment? Do you often stop and think about the ramifications of your decisions, the ramifications of your thoughts? For your thoughts are what create many things in your reality. This is part of the manifestation process. So let's look at two examples. When you see a person that is observed as being unwise, and you observe another person who is observed as being very wise, now from your own experience, what type of lives do you think those two people live? For the person who is observed as being unwise, more often than not they live a life that contains a level of chaos. They make mistakes, which we all do, but sometimes they don't learn from those mistakes. They repeat the mistakes over and over. Sometimes they don't understand or give thought to the ramifications of their thoughts, words and actions, which then has onflowing effects in their life, usually in ways that creates discomfort for themselves and for others. Whereas, if you cast your mind's eye to a person who is observed as being wise, they are generally not as stressed. They flow through their life with greater ease. They are more considerate of themselves and all that is around them. They see and learn from all that is around them. They navigate their lives with a greater level of peace and grace than the person who is observed as being unwise. Now we share this with you today because we wish to encourage more and more people on this planet to consciously take the time to slow down and just observe. Be in touch with your feelings in the moment. You don't need to tell everyone or shout it out, but just be observant. Many of you feel that you have a very busy life and there is no time for contemplation. So how come the person that is observed as being wise always manages to have the time, and yet still makes his and her way graciously through their life? Remember, as we move to the new paradigm, linear time, as you used to know it, will not exist in that same form. As you learn to consider that of who you are, the aspects of yourself, you tune into what is around you. You contemplate on what it is that you are thinking in the moment, what it is that you are feeling in the moment, and you tune into your divine I Am presence and receive guidance. In this moment, take all of those facets, thoughts, feelings, inputs, and formulate new conclusions or thoughts based on a greater assembly of knowledge, a greater level of input, so that your formulation and thoughts come from a wiser place. If you choose to do this, you will find that your life gains greater peace. You start to see clarity in aspects of your life that you did not see clarity previously. You start to have a knowingness in any moment where you are able to observe what is happening around you and tune into your higher self. The mind and the consciousness of the being is more than capable of dealing with all of this in the moment, to formulate wise thoughts, wise actions, and greater inner wisdom to guide you through this lifetime, to assist you as you move forward in a greater illuminated way. We will talk more on this. We love you all. We are the Arcturians. Channeled and transcribed by Paul Marwood. www.akashahealingstudio.com